So let's start with our appetizer. Our appetizer is World of T-shirts. So what I want to show you is this little article. It's about Joshua Block, World of T-shirts. We covered him in Japan. He obviously caused an incident in Japan, pushing people, hitting people, freaking out after somebody told him to put the fries in the bag. He absolutely had a meltdown, and he had to flee Japan. Well, now there's news that he was deported from Dubai, which means immigration did not let him in and they just booted him out. And it was supposedly because of his criminal record or perhaps for some other reason. So, reading down here, he had several posts while he was in the United Arab Emirates, which is Dubai, right? The country in which Dubai is in. And he posted several screenshots of several things on his Instagram. He says, I was deported from Dubai by immigration because of an arrest in 2024 for the subway incident. I don't know how long they will hold me at the airport before I can come home, but I got into Canada 3 times. I don't know how this is a problem. And this is kind of funny. What I think is hilarious about this is he thinks that he can relate Canada and Canada's like immigration policy with Dubai. And to be honest, different countries have different immigration policies. And I'm not one to comment. I'm an American lawyer, not a Canadian lawyer. But clearly the implication here is it's very easy to get into Canada, even if you have a criminal record or you are a problematic figure. That's what the implication here is. But just because you can get into Canada doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get in elsewhere, right? Just because you can get in the United States doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get in elsewhere. Just because you're from a first world country doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get in. You are not entitled to enter any country. Your passport does not guarantee you entry into a country. The country has full sovereign power to reject you for whatever reason. So the tweet here was that Josh Block was deported from Dubai upon arrival. So he never even got in the country. He then wrote later on, I got deported from the UAE at immigrations. They said they have no reason why they will put me in the next flight back to JFK. Update, it's not due to a past arrest for my deportation to the UAE. It's unclear why I can't enter Dubai and when I can fly home. Well, I'm not sure. This is very interesting. And of course, there's him flying home to the U.S. after he got, deported from Dubai. It's not clear why, and I think there's 2 plausible reasons. The first plausible reason is, like he said, because of his arrest, because of his criminal record. That's reason number 1. And I think that's the easiest explanation for most people who have a criminal record, is they've looked at your criminal record and they say, hey, we don't want a criminal here. And many countries are strict, while some countries don't care, right? So most European countries, I'm just going to throw this out there, if you go to the Netherlands and they see you had a possession of marijuana charge in United States or Canada, they're probably not going to care as much as if you were trying to go to, I don't know, let's say a Middle Eastern country, and you were convicted in a different Middle Eastern country of, let's say, blasphemy, right? Or some sort of other related law, right? They might say, well, we're not going to let you in because, we also enforce these sort of laws, right? Or there's some sort of related law. Or for example, even worse, if you're convicted of murderer, right? You're a murderer, or you've been convicted of attempted murder, or you're a drug smuggler, right? These are strong crimes will be enforced by most nations, right? Around the world. So there are, of course, places where it's easier, but they can also just look at your record and say no. They can look at your record and look at whatever you have, even if it's something small, even if it's something like a DUI. There's countries that will refuse you for a DUI. And it seems like in some places that's relatively minor offense, but in others, that's a very serious offense, which is deniable. So it could have been his criminal record. That's one. But what might be number 2, and which would be more intriguing, because I've been talking about this, is if they are starting to log nuisance streamers. And perhaps they don't call it nuisance streamers. Perhaps they call it problematic figures, right? And perhaps there's a log of such figures. And perhaps they're saying, hey, we're not going to let these people in. We're not going to let these people in because they can cause an issue. Mind you, there was another woman in Dubai who actually caused an issue the woman who refused to leave Dubai. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Until the Dubai government paid her. I don't know if you guys heard about that one. Who was that woman? Onijah Robinson. Onijah Robinson. She went to Pakistan to marry some young kid who was much younger than her. And then after that didn't work out, she went over to Dubai and she refused to leave. Yeah, here she is, Onijah Robinson. Right? I don't know if you heard about this. No, she first went to Pakistan. So she first went to Pakistan, and then Pakistan kicked her out. Right? Eventually. And then she went to Dubai and she refused to leave Dubai. So maybe they've thought, hey, look, these figures, these problematic figures, we don't want them in our country anymore. And we need to start looking at people that are on social media causing an issue. We need to start making a list and refusing them, because Dubai, with their sovereign power of immigration, can refuse any non-citizen. They can refuse anybody. So they'll be fully within their right to say, hey, we saw Josh Block in Japan. We saw what he did there. We saw he was problematic. We don't want to let him in. Simple as that. They don't need any more justification. They don't need to prove it to anybody. They don't need to go before the court. They don't need to do anything. They don't need to justify it. They say, nope, not welcome in the United Arab Emirates. Be gone with you. Go back home. Right? The only place where you are guaranteed to live is a place where you have citizenship. That's it. That's all.